Today, we're talking about building. This here is my Minecraft hardcore world, and inside of here, I have built many cool buildings. So, in this little bonus video today, I'm gonna show you how I build. I'm gonna take you through my entire process of planning, thinking of ideas, and bringing builds to life. So, let's go! Number 1, we want to identify the purpose of our building. Now, for a lot of you guys, you might already have an idea in your head, and if that's the case, awesome. But please don't just say, I'm gonna build a cool building with no purpose at all. When you have an idea or a vision, it makes the build 10 times easier. At least think of one thing you want to put in the building and go from there. And if you really have no ideas, just pick one item in the game and make a shop for it. So for me right now, I'm gonna build a butcher shop, a place to sell meat and food. For step number 2, we are going to start placing down an outline of the build. So go into your inventory and take out a block that you don't really care about. In my case, I'll just use like calcite, because why not? And we are gonna build a one tall floor plan. This is why I told you, have an idea. You're gonna need the idea in your head. So I'll have the front be right here. I'll pop a door right there, and I'll have a small door frame that goes maybe like a few blocks deep. Looks good. Then I'm gonna have this lead into a bigger room right in here, and peel this back to make a rectangular building shape. But wait, it's a butcher shop. That's why I told you, have an idea ready, because now I can make special rooms that fit the theme. So maybe out back here, I'll have a little bit of like a cow pen or something like that. So I'll have it like this big. All right, we got the door frame, the main sales building, the cow pen, and back here, I'll put like a refrigerator to store the extra meat. So something like this. And there we go, the floor plan is done. All right, gamers, it's time to take out your blocks, because number 3, we're talking about the block palette. So simply put, go to your inventory and take out about 5 different kinds of blocks. Personally, I'd recommend about 3 kinds of wood and 2 kinds of stone. So for me, I'm gonna do oak logs, oak plank, spruce wood, cobblestone, and deep slate. Friendly tip, get logs. You want logs in your build. So that being said, let's get to integrating these into our floor plan. So I always put logs on the corners. That is always a thing I will do. So I'm gonna do that. And now just replace the rest of your walls with a block of your choice. I'll just use deep slate for now. And there we go. We're making really good progress so far. Now for number 4, here's where your creativity really has to come in. We are talking about the size and scale of your building. This involves the height of the walls, the shape of the roof, just the general, shape of the whole thing. I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna require a little bit of external research for motivation. Some of my personal favorite places to go to for ideas are Google Images, Pinterest looking at game concept art, or Skillshare, which is the sponsor of today's video. And by the way, this is not just sponsorship talk. I really like Skillshare for getting Minecraft ideas. Skillshare is an amazing site where people can share their skills, hence the name. And people like me and you can go on there and learn said skills. And there has been one class that has been super helpful for Minecraft building for me. It's called Introduction to Designing Imaginary Architecture. And the nice lady's name who runs it is called Elwira Palikoska. Hope I said that right. And oh my gosh, that class has been so helpful for me because it really allows me to see how building should look, especially in like medieval or fantasy style builds. So yeah, if you want some more help with your Minecraft inspiration, go check out that Skillshare class. And by the way, if you use my link down below, you get 1 month free of Skillshare. You're welcome. But let's get back to work here. So first off, let's figure out the height of all the walls. Me personally, I enjoy making the big main building taller than these little side rooms. So what you're gonna do is take out your logs and we're gonna raise these up. So for the side rooms, I would do these about 5, maybe at most 6 tall, and do that for all of them. And once all your pillars are up, go to the top block on each of these and connect them all along the sides like this. Looking good, looking good. Now just go outline the rooms. So like where these walls would be, you're gonna put some logs there going through the middle. So like right there, one right here. I hope that makes sense to you guys, but if you do all of that, you'll have the room separated from the big middle bit. And the reason being is now we can raise up the middle bit and clearly make that taller than the rest of it like we talked about. And then once again, bring these all across to connect, making another big rectangle appear. And ladies, gentlemen, here comes the fun part. This is where we have our canvas and we can paint it with whatever blocks we want. So for number 5, we're talking about the walls. How to make beautiful looking walls. So the first thing to note is I usually have the bottom walls separate from the top walls, meaning down here could be deep slate, up here could be cobblestone. But for right now, ignore the top and fill in all your bottom walls with one kind of block, and after that, we'll detail it up. Alright, and now it is window time. So what I like to do is I like to go to each of these sides and break out either a 2 wide or a 1 wide window. In my case, I'll do 2 here because it kind of fits fits more evenly. And then I will take out some fences. You could use glass, but I actually prefer fences for my style of building for the windows, so I'll smack these in here. And then most importantly, I will break the top and the bottom blocks, and now I'll replace those with stairs. And by the way, the color matters here. If I use deep slate, it is just really dark here. If I use cobblestone, it's just like this weird offset of gray and black, but if I use something like light oak wood, it really pops. Oh yeah, that looks really good. So now I'm gonna go smack some more of these around all the walls. Looking good, but now I want to add in a little more texture and detail. So on the sides here, I'll put down some trap doors, kind of as like window panes. So kind of like this maybe? And something else I do is if I don't want to have a window in a certain spot, I'll actually put like a small garden there. So I'll bust out the window here, and I'll go dirt, I'll put trap doors on that, then above that, I'll put some flowers down. And there we go, a little garden. Oh, and I almost forgot the door. For the door, I'll always break the top piece and put an upside down stair, smack the door from the inside. That way when we go on the outside, it kind of has that like groove effect with the stair. So I love that. Then of course some side windows here, same little stair thing, and maybe a small awning by using some trap doors up on that, and then putting fences connecting to it like so. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. And as I said before, we're gonna make the second floor a different color. So I'm gonna do cobblestone. You could do wood, you could do another kind of stone, I guess, but I'm gonna go cobble. And by the way, don't worry about these little empty roofs for now in the small buildings. We'll take care of that later. All right, it's all filled in. That being said, I would advise you to not put in any windows or details on the walls up here yet, because it's much more important that we figure out the roof. So number 6 is the roof. So for my roofs, I'll take out 2 different kinds of blocks. In my case now, I'm gonna use oak wood and spruce wood. And I do this so I can have an external trim as one color and the internal roof as another color. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go to the second floor and go to the longer side, the horizontal side. And I'm gonna take the darker block, in my case spruce, and put stairs across this last log all the way across, and then one off on each side just like that. And of course over here too. Now we're gonna mirror this on the exact opposite side. Don't do it on the short sides, just the long sides. And now here comes my favorite part about making the roof, which is designing the shape of it. You could just go like stair, 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 but that's boring. So I like to do upside down stair, go up like 2 blocks. Do that again, upside down stair, go up 1 block, and then you make like a taller shaped roof. And now I keep doing stairs and upside down stairs till I find the middle bit, which I think will be right here, so I can just put an upside down stair there. Now obviously do the same thing over here, and boom, 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 and look at that, a really cool roof shape. So now very simply, do this same shape on the other side. And by the way, if you don't like this shape, you can make it however you want, but again, this is just my personal preference. And now take out your other kind of block, in my case oak wood, and we're gonna mimic this exact thing in the middle. As I said earlier, we're gonna have an external trim and an internal roof with different colors. And if done correctly, it should look a little bit like this. But wait, here comes a really cool detail. Go to the top and don't leave it flat. Take out your trim block, a slab variant of that block, and bring it across the top. And oh boy, if you want to get really fancy, get rid of the last block at the end, put a stair and an upside down stair, and you get kind of like this rustic roof spike, which I love doing in my builds. Now if you go to the shorter side of the roof, it'll be all open like this. What I tend to do is I'll take out some more logs, go in the middle, and bring that up. Then on the sides where there's no blocks, I'll just put in more of this same second floor block. As a matter of fact, I kind of don't like that. I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna replace that with maybe like some oak wood or like a third kind of block. Oh yeah, that's actually much better. All right, I broke my own rule. Who cares? Oh, and by the way, you might be thinking, what's up with these roofs, Farzy? Well, on these smaller rooms that are, you know, poking out of the center, we are going to make mini roofs on them. In my case, I make them simple. I just kind of go one kind of block and just go straight up and have it meet in the middle again. Some slabs on top, and maybe if I'm feeling a little bit cool here, another little spiky thing like that. Actually, no, forget that. And how does that look? That looks good. There we go. We're making progress. So obviously, do that kind of thing or something a little bit different on these other small rooms. Okay, this thing is really coming together now. I like it. But there's one final thing I've been doing a lot recently for my roofs, and that is adding some detail and some texture. You could leave it blank like this, which I used to do a lot, but now I try to break some little rows of stairs and just put in either like some logs or some similar blocks or just a little bit taller, just to make it pop a little bit more. And maybe even some trapdoors too every here and there. Absolute perfection. You might hate it, but I personally love it. It just adds a lot of, you know, variety, and that's what I like in my builds. But that being said, now just add your windows and your details to the second floor, and maybe a little bit of like a window up here too on the roof. roof. And boom, all my second floor windows are in, so now it's time for number 7, which is the other external details. Obviously, the house looks good, but in some areas, like, you know, these pillars or like here, it's a little bit flat, so we gotta add in a few more small things to make it look nice. The first one being going to each of these logs at the bottom and putting fences, and then put trapdoors on top of that. Kind of look like support spikes or something like that. I like it, you might not, but I think it's cool. But if you hate it, you also could do like a stair thing that I do sometimes, where I'll go like stair, upside down stair, stair, upside down stair, and put maybe like a lantern up there, or just another trapdoor. So it's really up to you, but make sure you put stuff on these logs, because if you don't do that, it's just way too basic and flat. Now that solves the corners, but over here on like these wall ends, it's still way too flat here. So over here, I'll take more of these gardens and put those in there. Or you can take out some leaves and make a little bit of like a bush here, like that. It's very simple and, you know, not the greatest thing in the world, but it adds some color and adds some shape. And honestly, I prefer a mix of both. I'll do like some weird clumps here and there of leaves, then some plants on the other sides. Oh, the bottom is looking really good, but of course, the top bit's still kind of bland, so I'd recommend you either take out more of your fences and trapdoors and do some hanging things like that, or you can take out some chains and hang some lanterns. So we go like that, bring it down maybe a couple, put a lantern right there, and do that on all the top corners. You could do that even like here, and make them like varied with different heights. Yes, yes, yes. Now the final thing I do for detailing on the exterior is on these little small roof things. I'll put something here, because like at the top here, you know, these are big enough to put windows in, but down here you can't. So I like to either put some like fences going across, or some trapdoors across the top like this, and put like a lantern up there. Ooh, in fact, I kind of like that, like an inverted trapdoor thing. Well, new building idea for Farzy. And dare I say it, is the exterior all done? I think it is. So what do you guys think? But don't you worry, we are not done yet, because for number 8, we're talking about the interior. Right now, it's so ugly and terrible. So first things first, get rid of the ugly grass floor and put down a block of your choice. I'm gonna go spruce wood. I'd recommend it be a darker block, not a lighter block. All right, check. Now it's time to put in all our ideas we talked about earlier. So having like, you know, a cow area in this room, or having like a fridge in this room. And I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys, I'm not the best at interiors, so I'm not gonna give you too many pointers on like what to actually place and where. I will give you maybe a couple. I'll say like, I'll do some trapdoors for like tables and put stuff on them. And I'll usually make a second floor with some stairs with some oak logs next to it to kind of guide it up. But yeah, beyond that, I don't have too much like practical advice to give you, so I will give you some inspiration instead. So here we are back in my hardcore world, and for example, here's a log cutting like wood chopping room. Down here is a smeltery, a villager trading hall, and my chest room. So yeah, I don't really do too much to the interior. Again, small details, but I'm not like a big interior designer, so do what you want with that information. But I can be your guy for number 9, which involves the nature around your area. Yes, the build is done, but you can make your build so much better when you make the surrounding yard and land so much more just detailed. So take out some bone meal and some moss and let's get to work. I am the biggest moss fan ever. I love mossing up the area. It adds so much more color, and again, tall grass, some azaleas. I think it is so important. So I'm gonna do that all around the place. Looking good, but here's the hidden potential of moss. In moss, you can get these moss carpets. Underneath here, you can actually take out torches and have hidden lighting. I pop a torch in there, put the carpet back on top, and you can't see it, but now your yard will have no mobs in it. And I do this for every single build I do, so do not be dumb. Do this. Such a big brain play. And beyond that, I'll just make sure I have a little pathway here getting to the door. So I'll take out a shovel and do a little bit of this kind of stuff. Gotta replace that moss. Just like this to the front. And that looks sweet. And don't forget, put your moss alongside of that too. It also looks pretty epic. And last but not least, tip number 10 involves practicing your builds in creative mode first. Every build you've seen in this world, every single thing you've seen, I have built it in a separate creative test world first. I promise you, if you just try and build the stuff in survival first try, you will mess it up, you will get frustrated, and you might even just quit and say, this is stupid. But if you have a build testing world like I do, you can go in there and test out all your builds and be stress-free. And if you don't believe me, I'm gonna use the /kill command, die, go back to my spawn point, and you'll see I have the tree house, the clock tower, the greenhouse, all my builds I've practiced practice them to make sure they are perfect. Smeltery, the barn, you get the point. So yeah, those are my top 10 hardcore building tips that I personally use to build in my world. I hope I helped you out. If I did, let me know down below. But on that note, make sure to like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and I'll talk to you guys next time. So until then, goodbye.